You know, when the war first started, people say, I think I was 16, maybe 15. They said, oh, boys like you'll never have to go to, you'll never have to go to the service on account of the war is about over. But it wasn't.
I didn't join, I was drafted, and you know, I felt like I needed to go, and even today, I'm glad I went. When you're there, you do all you can do, and that's just the way I was.
Well, I had a couple of brothers in there, and then, you know, all my cousins, and I had about 8 or 10 cousins that were already in there, and I thought, well, I'd just join up and join them, so that's what I did.
I was 19 years old, and I had failed out of college and didn't really have any appointments for the next couple of years. So I needed a place to go, and so I joined the Army.
Well, I got drafted in 1957. I was at Perryton and got drafted, and they sent me to Amarillo and said to you know, see if I was going to pass the physical, and I told them if I did, let's go on and get it over with.
I went to school here at WT on a football scholarship in 1948, and Coach Frank Kimbrough at the time, it was before the Korean War started, but he insisted that everyone on scholarship, athletic scholarship, either join the Naval Reserve or the National Guard. And I opted for the Naval Reserve, so I joined about less than a month after I was 17 years old. It was at his request.
Well, when you see that there's something to do, like all of us did at that time, we believed that we had to get in there and do a part, whatever they want us to do, whatever it could make us do, or let us do. And we're glad to do that. And I really don't know what to tell you about that.
My first tour in Vietnam, I went over when I was 17 years old. And my mother told me that there's no way I was going to Vietnam because they was going to pass a law saying you had to be 18 to be in a combat zone. And I went over as I was 17, and then the Stars and Stripes came out with the announcement that you had to be 18 to be in a combat zone. So I showed it to my chief in charge of me, and he just told me to get back in my foxhole and keep a low profile for about 6 weeks. Then I turned 18.
Being in the military and in wartime like that, being in a war zone, fortunate enough not to be on the shooting front, it was a good experience. I wouldn't take anything for it. I wouldn't do it again, hopefully.
More or less, war is they call it the rich man's war and the poor man's fight. The rich man starts it, the poor man has to finish it. But, that's the way I looked at war.
And like I've said, that I wasn't in the shooting war. Sometimes you feel like, well, maybe I need to stand back and let these other guys do all the talking, because I wasn't shot at much. And some of them were even wounded. And somehow I just don't like to even talk about that, because I feel like that, well, I don't know, wasn't left out of it exactly, but feel like maybe I didn't do enough.
You know, in the military, you go where they send you, and you do what they tell you to do. So it's not the individual's choice about whether he got combat or whether he didn't get combat.
I knew when I got over there and was on this boat going across to wade out in the water on the French shore, I knew that I probably wasn't even going to get to the shore. That's how, I had no feeling of remorse or anything. I just knew that my twin brothers standing there beside me, and along with about 40 other of us crowded on that one little boat, and I knew that probably we'd be lucky if 1 or 2 of us got off and made it to, you know, bodies floating everywhere, and I wasn't really expecting to ever get back home.
I tried to make the best of it. Some of it was good and some of it you didn't like, but I got through it. And I still had everything. I was healthy when I come home, so I'm thankful for that.
There's nothing about war that I liked. It's not funny to kill a person.
Hi, I'm Chris Stone. In addition to being the general manager at Bell Helicopter, I'm also a veteran. I served 7 years in Army Aviation as a captain. I'd like to thank all of our employees who have served in the armed forces and all the men and women who are currently serving.
At Bell Helicopter, we're proud of our veterans.
Hello, my name is Brandon Pendergrass. I'm assembler mechanic here at Bell Helicopter. I served 7 years in the Army. The last rank was Staff Sergeant.
Hello, my name's Doug Hazlitt. I'm a V-22 electrician here at Bell. I was a member of the U.S. Army for 8.5 years, and last rank was Sergeant.
Hi, I'm William Sistrunk. I'm the rotor and engine shop supervisor here at Bell Helicopter. Spent 22 years in the Navy, retired as a chief.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. At Bell Helicopter, we're proud of our veterans.
I'm Jim Kessler, a V-22 production test pilot. I retired from the Marine Corps as a major after 20 years of active service.
I'm Jason Phillips. I'm a mechanic on the V-22, and I was a sergeant in the Army from 2001 to 2007.
My name is David Miller. I'm a quality engineer on the V-22 and H-1 programs. I was in the U.S. Navy for 22 years and retired as a Navy chief.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. America Supports You Texas 2012 Panhandle Honor Flight is being brought to you by Bell Helicopter. We are proud of all of our employees and want to say a special thank you to the veterans who have sacrificed for our country.
Arlington National Cemetery certainly is hallowed ground for many, many, many men and women who gave their lives to our country in the name of freedom.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, I'd never seen so many tombstones in my life. And then when that guy told us, I don't remember how many, he said that funerals they have every day, they're burying those people in that area where we was at. But it looked like they're gonna run out of land up there pretty quick. But it's just plumb amazing, the whole deal was.
You know, it's a final resting place for the real military heroes. They're all heroes, but these men and women paid all, you know. They gave their lives.
Arlington Cemetery is an honored place for heroes. There's no doubt about it. The country has chosen that spot.
We felt very, very obligated to go there because we wanted to share that with these guys. And again, it seems like every year we go, some of these veterans, they know some of those folks that are buried there.
I don't know the words to describe it. It's outstanding. And if anybody goes and it don't get you when you get to that changing that guard on that unknown soldier, boy, you can't light your fire, I guarantee you. Something's wrong. That'll get you. That's worth the trip. It really was.
To me, it all culminates there at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Seeing the older vets, we get them off the bus and get them up the hill, and seeing them lay that wreath.
The reverence at the changing of the guard at Arlington, I think, was the most impressive. I had seen that before, but it had been 40 years ago, and that was very impressive to me. The precision with which those young men performed their duty.
Of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army, Guard of Honor.
they're in awe watching the change of the guard, and they don't realize that most of that's directed towards them.
The old guard that stands, that does their duty there in Arlington National Cemetery at the tomb, 24 hours a day, forever. And they understand why it's important to be there.
The manner in which it is conducted, the solemnness of which it's conducted, the seriousness of which it's conducted, is a straight sign of respect of the soldiers who are there guarding the soldiers who are there at rest.
What a tribute to our country to see men like this do their duty, and it represents the finest men and women that we have in our country, and that's all who serve, just not the old guard, but the code to be a member of the honor guard is just absolutely unbelievable, and they follow that code every day of their life, even after they have been released from active duty or out of the military. They still wear that badge of honor, and they still follow that code.
The ceremony that you are about to witness is an Army reclaiming ceremony to be conducted by Texas Panhandle Honor Flight.
We've been very fortunate to be selected to present that wreath at that tomb of the unknown soldier.
All military personnel in uniform will run the hand salute, and it is appropriate for all others to place their right hand over their heart upon the commander. Present arms. Thank you.
The laying of the wreath is also a salute. The salute in the military is a sign of respect. It is a sign of acknowledgement, and the wreath to many brings a sense of closure for the location. You know, the World War II Memorial, the Korean Memorial. It's, I went, I fought, I'm here, and I'm honoring those who did not come back.
It's very humbling, very, very emotional, as it should be, Ryan, as it should be, because again, they're like three men that unknown only to God, and they served and they sacrificed their lives for our country. And that wreath presentation is really not on, it is on behalf of all of the citizens of the Texas Panhandle to honor all who perished in all wars that gave their lives to our country.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. At Bell Helicopter, we're proud of our veterans.
I'm Chris Johnson, production engineer for the V-22. I was a corporal in the United States Marine Corps for 6 years.
I'm Remington Holt. I'm a quality inspector at Bell Helicopter. I was in the U.S. Navy for 5 years, Petty Officer 2nd Class.
My name's Skylar Vaughn. I'm a manager of H-1 B-22 Final Assembly. I spent 8 years in the United States Air Force as a staff sergeant.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. At Bell Helicopter, we're proud of our veterans.
Scott Fitzner, Senior Procurement Specialist here at Bell Helicopter, United States Navy, Petty Officer 3rd Class, 1974 and 1978.
My name is Troy Johnson. I work for Bell Helicopter. I'm a hub and blade assembler. I was in the United States Air Force for 10 years as a sergeant.
Hello, my name is Barry Thornley. I work at Bell Helicopter as an assembler, electrician on the H-1 Cobra. I served as a staff sergeant in the U.S. Air Force for 12 years.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. America Supports You Texas 2012 Panhandle Honor Flight is being brought to you by Bell Helicopter. We are proud of all of our employees and want to say a special thank you to the veterans who have sacrificed for our country.
I still miss the military. I still miss it a lot. As a matter of fact, when Desert Storm started up, I'd heard rumor that they were recalling back retired Seabees to go back over to Iraq. And I've made phone calls every day for 2 weeks straight to the Pentagon to find out who it was that was calling back the retired Seabees. When I found him, finally got a hold of him, I said, okay, I'm ready to go. I want to go to Iraq. And he told me that I wouldn't go. He said, well, if I got called back, that I would relieve some young guy here in the States and let him go, and I'd take his place in the States. And I told him to scratch my name then, because I wasn't about to go back in and serve stateside.
Even at my age now, if they needed some kind of active duty of anything, I would do it. I would do it. I love my country. And, you know, people today, these kids, I hope they love their country, and I hope they think of that. And like the thought you was talking earlier with the other fella, you know, the military, I grew up. You have to grow up, and it will make a man out of you. And it made one out of me. I was a whole lot different person when I came back than what I was when I left. And everything that I've done right up to today with my life has had a lot to do with the military.
You know, you get lots of questions of what did the military do for you, and I think the best thing, I already had discipline from my family, but I think it helps you make the best out of a really bad situation, wherever you are.
I was kind of a loose cannon when I was in college. And being in the military, I think gave me the opportunity to age a little bit, to get some maturity, to learn some discipline, and to learn some leadership skills that I think I would not otherwise have learned.
You know, military man is a military man. I don't think he ever really quits.
There are more stories. There are more stories that you hear on this trip, on the bus and on the plane. And combat veteran versus somebody that wasn't, that should never play into it, because nobody feels that way. Nobody feels nobody in the service feels that there's separation there. Everybody serves.
I came back from Vietnam on the 4th of July, well actually 5th of July of 70, and I got married. So I've been married for 42 years now to my lovely wife. Got 2 sons. My oldest one is the children's pastor over at Paramount Baptist Church. And then my youngest one's a chaplain in the Navy, or chaplain in the Air Force. He wanted to join the Navy, but I wouldn't let him. I told him not to.
Well, I went to work in law enforcement. I was a deputy sheriff for 5.5 years, and then I was a special ranger with the Texas and Southwestern Cavalry Association for 41 years.
Worked for highway engineers for 31 years. Surveyed for 5 or 6 years, and then I managed a wholesale drilling mud company for the rest of the time. Retired again. Retired about 4 or 5 times now.
I met a young lady here on campus. I was a senior and she was a freshman, and we fell in love. And just after I graduated, we got married. And soon after that, I got my call to active duty to go to OCS.
Yeah, I married my high school sweetheart. We had 1 daughter. She had 3 kids. Now they've all got 3 or 4 apiece, so I've got lots of offspring. Proud of every one of them.
We have 2 daughters. One was born just after we moved to Dallas when I got out of law school, and the other one just after we came back to Amarillo.
In '63 and still married the same meanest woman in the county.
You know it's going to be on TV, right?
Yeah, I know I'm on TV. She knows it. There she is calling right now.
Well, you know, I was raised in Childress, Texas originally, and I had a girlfriend there, and we went to school together and stuff like that, and broke off. I broke off, and I said, well, I don't want to go for any more Childress girls. So then I ended up in the war, and got out of the war and ended up in Amarillo, and I met my wife and realized that her dad was from Childress. But we've been married almost 41 years, and got 2 girls, 2 boys, and we own Rick's Refrigeration here in town, Amarillo Ice Company, and we're pretty involved.
I'm busy. Yeah, I still got her. She said the only reason we stay together is nobody else have me and nobody else have her.
Got a great wife, Jennifer. She's from Canyon. I was raised in Groover, and we've got 3 boys, 12, 10, and 3, Sam, Ben, and Jack, and we spend most of our time chasing them.
But all told, we've really had a good life, and of all the things I thought would have never have happened is getting to go on this trip.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. At Bell Helicopter, we're proud of our veterans.
My name is Tim Littlefield. I work V-22 functional test and final assembly. I was in the United States Air Force 20 years and retired as a Master Sergeant.
My name is Les Alexander. I'm a manufacturing resource analyst at Bell Helicopter. I served for 8 years in the United States Marine Corps as a sergeant.
Hi, my name is Michelle Lindstrom. I'm an electrical assembler at Bell Helicopter. I was a staff sergeant in the Air Force from 1997 to 2006.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. At Bell Helicopter, we're proud of our veterans.
My name is Don Servosky. I'm a manager in procurement at Bell Helicopter. I was a captain in the United States Army, and I served from 1984 to 1995.
I'm Chris Johnson, production engineer for the V-22. I was a corporal in the United States Marine Corps for 6 years.
I'm David Balser. I'm a senior quality administrator here. Served in the Navy for 7 years, got out as a lieutenant.
We are proud to be a part of the America Supports You Texas Honor Flight in the Panhandle spirit. America Supports You Texas 2012 Panhandle Honor Flight is being brought to you by Bell Helicopter. We are proud of all of our employees and want to say a special thank you to the veterans who have sacrificed for our country.
Yeah, there's a whole different appreciation. I've even had guys from the airports and stuff. I've had guys from Iraq and Afghanistan coming back thanking me for my service. You know, and that didn't ever happen 2 years ago.
America Supports You is a very important part of this community. There is probably no larger patriotic arena than Texas in the North Panhandle. They remind the community that we are still at war. They remind the community that there are veterans in the area that need our help. They remind the community that America is free because of the soldiers and the sailors and the airmen and the Marines that were fighting for our country.
It makes me feel good that there's an organization out there that cares enough about veterans to pay that kind of money out of pocket, or to where the veteran himself doesn't have to be out a dime to go back and see the memorials that were built on his behalf.
Amarillo honor flight, attach.
You know, like I said, getting back in formation and saluting and getting called to attention one more time. It's like getting invited to play in that football game, that last football game. You know, you get to do it one more time.
My honor and my privilege to be with you.
And their wives and their kids get to see them do stuff they've never done before.
A lot of these veterans never had the opportunity to experience a welcome home rally because the World War II generation, they got out of the war and came home and went to work and built built this great country. You know, these memorials are built in their honor, and many have never been to D.C. to see these memorials, and you know what an opportunity we have as citizens here in the Texas Panhandle to put a trip like this together to honor those men and women from this area that served and sacrificed so much for our country. And you know, it was an exciting project, extreme work involved in putting this together and taking a charter flight with 137 people and putting the tours together. But you know, best thing that I've ever done in my life. Absolutely. If I can say that I was a part of an honor flight, I think I could say I'd lived a pretty good life.